I'm actually recording all these videos, but really what I really want to feel into and talk about is God. And there's a lot of connotations and associations with the word God. So if that word doesn't work, I would say let's just bring up all the connotations and put them aside for a minute, because it is actually a good word to bring back and to use in a way that really connects to that divine inwards being that create our diverse expressions of this one creation, of this one God. And there is some value in actually using the word God, even though the videos don't get as many views. um, and because I see a difference between people who work, like if you work on political activism, or if you work on issues of diversity and inclusion, if you work on issues of equality, and you do it without God, without that divine connection, then it just ends up being another struggle for power. And I see this all the time. And then we start to make up new terms, allyship. Instead of responding to situations as they come and going into our intuition and acting from a place of truth, our own experiential lived truth, we go from like these places that are very perfect sounding, allyship. I don't know why I have this word allyship on my mind today, but to be an ally, like people are going out and writing about being allies, and we should be allies. And what does that even mean, to be an ally? I mean, the way that it's used in these diversity circles, it means that you use your privilege to help someone who's underprivileged. But in reality, all that stuff goes out the window if you don't agree with them. Whether they're privileged or not, if you don't agree with their perspective, if you don't like what they're saying, you're not really going to be their ally. So the theory falls out the window. It's a word that helps us maybe come out of our own privileged stance, but it doesn't really help to connect us, because it creates further divisions between those who have agree on some topic and those who don't. And because you're not going to be an ally with someone that you don't agree with. And I've seen this so many times in my circles. We take up all these words that are used in the language of diversity, the language of democracy, but not really democracy, or not a lived version of democracy, but just like these theories and words and things coming out of the mind, these strategies, and we try to be good people, and we don't want to really deal with the tension of the conflict or the tension of disagreement. We just want to be told that I can do this, and then I once in a while go and I'm an ally to someone, and I can check that off my list. But am I really an ally to someone that's difficult to be an ally to? Have I chosen my ally as someone who's easy to be an ally to? And that's a good question to have. Because I've found in my life that the people that I didn't agree with the most, they were actually the ones that were closest to me. And I feel like I've chosen this life experience even from before I got here, whether you believe that or not. But I feel like this is the greatest learning that I've had, is to grow up with people who have different opinions with, and still keep them close and still keep the love. The world of diversity and inclusion, and there's a reason why it's kind of created such a reaction from the right. Let's say it's the world of the left-wing politics, and there's a reason why it was created so much of a reaction from the right, is because there's something in it that's just not really felt in the heart. There's something in it that still comes from a place of domination and control. And on the micro level, I've seen this also in diversity circles, that the one who created the one who goes around and preaches about diversity is keeps their circle very small in terms of who's allowed to be in that circle. And is that really diverse perspectives? If only it's really only the same perspectives that can fit into that circle. And I've heard this also from other people, that diversity only works in those circles if you agree with the initial premise. So this could be things about men and women. This could be right, left politics. But as long as we don't really come into the tension of the disagreement or the conflict, or the projections that we have, or the triggers, or the more yucky, uncomfortable stuff that makes us look at ourselves and how we exclude and how we deny and how we reject and how we avoid actually parts of ourselves but project it to others, then the whole business of diversity and inclusion is just words. It's just words and concepts that we learn, and then we learn to apply them. And it's a very slow I wouldn't even say slow. I would just say it doesn't really work. And these big companies are running these. I feel so annoyed that in a way that these big companies are running these big diversity trainings, and then I go and see what they're doing, and it is really superficial, and it is makes people in the audience go, yes, that's interesting, good insight, again up here, but nothing connected really to the heart, and nothing connected to the lived experience. And then when we go down there, we might as well say God. We might as well say, because doing all these things without God, without that connection, keeps it just on the mental level. So it's really important to have God in politics, in these conversations about diversity, in cultural exchanges, in everything that has to do with connecting people, in ensuring a more equal world. How do we forget that God is a part of this, and he walks alongside us, and he helps us, and he wants to support us in this, because we're all his unique expressions, and we all come from the same one source. So I just felt like doing a spiel on that today, and putting it out there that yes, God is important in diversity and inclusion. And if you don't see it like that, then I feel that it's just going to be eventually maybe make a difference on some smaller scale, maybe help you understand something in the mind, but not really cause things to transform internally and externally the way we want them to.